bio and I'll come back and speak. So please enjoy.
Non-Pumelelo Rial Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown international speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Rial is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Rial Kunene!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. You know, all these amazing speakers, really, they've just set the bar high for me. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to fit in your shoes, but you know what? I'm really going to try. I'm going to try, but I always double check if I'm in the right platform. How many of you with the raise of hand can say that, Rial, I have never, ever complained in life? Never, ever complained in life. Seemingly, I am in the right platform. What I'm going to be focusing mostly on is going to be human rights. It's going to be human rights. And I know Alana Sharps, she shared from her experience on how to recognize the signs of narcissistic abuse. And then Tamara on her end, she was like, you know what, when it's high time we build a peaceful society. So what do we need to build that peaceful society? And Victoria, she shared from her experience on domestic violence. And then Dennis, yes, she also shared more nuggets on the narcissistic abuse, life after that narcissistic abuse. How can you rebuild your life after that? So I'm just gonna go over everything that they've covered, but in a different aspect. So since I'll be talking about this sensitive topic, I always have a disclaimer on human rights, domestic violence. Trust me, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist, but as a human rights analyst and an advocate to end domestic violence, I've come to learn that the shame surrounding domestic violence is a barrier to talking about the issue. So we need to take the necessary actions to break the vicious cycle with confidence. We are the backbone of interventions to support victims and end violence in their lives. So we need to raise awareness on human rights. We need to raise awareness on domestic violence, because I believe that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of their gender, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. But I know many people, when you ask them, what are human rights? What comes into your mind when you think of the word human rights? Maybe I should pose this question to our audience and to our speakers. What comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights? You can just throw in your response in the chat box. I'll come back and check, because I just want to be sure like that I'm sharing something that is familiar with everyone. I know many, when they think of human rights, when they think of human rights, they think of civil rights, they think of freedom. Yes, you're in the right direction. Human rights, really, these are the fundamental rights and freedoms that are inherent to all human beings, regardless of your gender, nationality, place of residence, sex, ethnicity, religion, or even your skin color. Human rights are not just about the law. So human rights are non-discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you'll have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. My everyday book says that you'll have to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So get started today, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So I'm going to touch bases on emotional abuse and how to actually safely exit an abusive relationship. So when it comes to emotional abuse is just a way to control another person by using emotions to criticize, embarrass, shame, blame, or otherwise manipulate that other person. So in general, a relationship is emotionally abusive when there is a consistent pattern of abusive words and bullying behaviors that wear down a person, or maybe it can just weigh down you or your self-esteem and undermine your own mental health. So it's high time, good people, to gain more knowledge on domestic violence, human rights. It's a wake-up call for everyone, really. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and make a difference? Be the change that we want to see in this world. You'll have to understand that there are signs that you'll have to watch for if you're in an emotional abusive or physical abusive relationship. But I'm not going to touch more on the physical aspect, because Victoria has already covered what she went through, and Alana, as well as Dennis, and Tamara has kind of highlighted some domestic violence signs that you'll have to watch for. So I'm not going to cover all that. So on the emotional aspect of domestic violence, your significant other or your husband or your boyfriend, they might, or your girlfriend, yes, because it's happening in both men and women. We're not going to be biased here and be like, it's only happening on women. Yes, I know the rate of women is like that high, but these individuals that you're in the relationship with, they are judgmental towards you. They always have an opinion about a lot of what you say, what you do, or what you think. And they tend to ignore your boundaries or invade your privacy, which includes being possessive or controlling. They make it a point to isolate you from other people in your life. Like Elena mentioned, that she used to make her calls when she's just on her way home or on her way to work, not at home. And then he'll be like checking and calling back the numbers that he doesn't know. That's being possessive and controlling. They are very, very manipulative. They can guilt trip you or make you doubt yourself. And they often dismiss you or your feelings, saying that you are too sensitive, or calling you crazy, or even make fun of your achievements or hopes or dreams. They're like, no, it's impossible. You can't do it. Good people, I so wish that you can just tell yourself that, you know what, it's high time. You are the change that you want to see in this world. The change that you want to see must first begin with you. But in order for you to go out there, be the change, make a difference, trust me, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. That hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. That hungry lion, all that he sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to make a difference in our communities, to make a difference in our workplaces. because the lion mindset, it tells us that we all rise together, and we rise by lifting each other up. We're only here to fix each other's crown, not to tear anyone down. So we need to be the voices for the voiceless. So one may ask, how can I heal then? How can I heal from the emotional abuse that I went through? The first advice that I will ever give out there is that you'll have to seek for professional help. Tell yourself the truth at first, because denial is a hallmark of abuse. Seek professional guidance. There is no one size fits all prescription for healing. So you need a trained professional to assess your situation and as well as your safety, to help you deal with emotional baggage from the past and to help you to develop a strategy for change in your life. So seek professional help, good people. You need this. And you'll also have to find and maintain healthy relationships. It is so critical to seek support from friends, families, and ideally your church if you are a believer, or whatsoever you go for gatherings, like your support system. You need these people. Always be willing to reach out to your support system, and remember that staff, whatsoever you reach for support, some of them, they may not be able to have the same trainings as the professional counselors, for example. So, but they can always do the referrals. Always have a support system. It was Barack Obama who once said that the future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. So you really don't have to be politically involved to learn about your human rights. All human beings are entitled to them, and you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Why? I'm glad you asked that, because these are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms that are inherent to all human beings. So as flight attendants always say, that put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So it's high time to put on that oxygen mask on yourself first before you go out there and save the world. Once you put on that oxygen mask first, you'll be strong enough to face the world. So we're going to talk about how to actually exit an abusive relationship safely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share tips for creating a safety plan. Although many people will urge you to just leave the relationship, especially if the abuse is like escalating. And you most likely know from experience that this is not an easy task. Aside from putting your personal safety at risk, you are also probably considering your children, or maybe if you have pets, you're also thinking of your pets at the same time. So what's more, living an abuser is more dangerous than anything else in this world. After all, the abuser is losing control over you and the relationship, and he will try to escalate the violence in order for him to make you stay in that relationship. So ending a significant relationship is never, never easy. It's even harder when you've been isolated from your family members or your friends, psychological beaten down, financially controlled, and physically threatened. So it's very, very hard. In fact, the likelihood of a person being seriously injured or even killed while trying to live, it increases exponentially. So that's the reason why I was like, I'm gonna help. I know I have been approached by two different individuals in this, and who really needs to hear this message. So I was like, instead of just me sharing with them alone, I'm going to share with the world. You need to carefully plan how to live this relationship, ensuring that you have the strength, you have the courage, and you have the resources to make it happen. Trust me, I've witnessed many being killed when they try to exit an abusive relationship. So it was Nelson Mandela who once said, to deny people their own human rights is to challenge their very, very humanity. And trust me, this message, it really stirred something within me. So how do you, before you exit that relationship, let's talk about how do you actually stay safe in that abusive relationship while you're still planning on how to actually exit this relationship. Please just, send us an email if you need more information on how to stay safe in an abusive relationship. In fact, many people who live in an abusive relationship need to know how to stay safe while they are still in that relationship. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to share some points without just going into details on how to actually stay safe. So point number one, I hope you can just write this down. Identify safe spaces in your house, in your home. Identify safe spaces in that home. Think about the parts of your house that don't have any weapons or things that can be used to you as weapons. Point number two, talk to a trusted neighbor. You know, we have people who really care. Someone you can trust out there. Talk to that person. If you have a neighbor that you can trust, talk to them about what you are experiencing in your life. Together, identify a word code like or a signal that you can both use in case you need help. Decide together what the neighbor's steps will be if you use the word or the signal, like, or maybe please, I'm gonna be like, I'm just placing an order, KFC delivery. This is my address. You know, like that word code that you can just use in order for your neighbor, maybe to call 911 or maybe to come at your door and get your kids. You'll have to kind of sit down with your neighbor. Point number three, you'll have to teach your kids how to get help and keep an extra set of keys in a safe place. Because abusive people, they often take victims' keys to keep them from leaving. So you need to put an extra set of keys in a safe place so that you can access them in case of emergency. Number four, you'll have to avoid wearing scarves or long jewelry. During an abusive encounter, things around your neck, it can be used to strangle you. So stay away from scarves, you know, long jewelry. Just be yourself, you know, like me today. Just be like that. Don't wear that because it can be used against you. And you'll have to know when you can get help. Research to determine who you can call when you need help. In other words, find the telephone numbers, websites for local shelters, hotlines, so that whenever you need help, you just call them. You also might want to find out where and when local support groups meet, because having these resources available to you when you need them, it's very, very important for your safety planning. So you'll have to do this, and also you'll have to set money aside. I've had many like they are actually planning to exit this abusive relationship, and they'll go out there, oh, can you please help me with anything, I'm planning to leave this abusive relationship. You know, although financial abuse is often part of an abusive relationship, so it's so important to set aside some money if you can safely do so, so that you can have food, you can have gas, you can have lodging expenses when you initially leave. Set that aside. If it's not safe in your house, please keep that money with a trusted family member so that you will have access to this money when you need it. And you also have to locate and assemble important documents. You know, when you're planning to leave an abusive person, it's important to have access to all of your important documents. You also may want to keep copies of them at a trusted family member's house, just in case the abusive person destroys what you have in that house. So always have the copies because you will definitely need them. And try to organize important phone numbers. I know it may sound like, oh, phone numbers, but I know my mom's phone number. I know my best friend's phone number. You know, in this case, when you are like so anxious, you are so scared, you might end up forgetting your mom's phone number. You might end up forgetting your best friend's phone number. So keep them. Maybe if you can't keep them in your purse, keep them somewhere where you know for sure you will definitely find them when you need them. Keep those important phone numbers aside, not in your phone, but write them somewhere so that just in case you need them. And today we're not gonna talk more about what will happen after you leave the relationship, because once you leave the relationship, you need to realize that your risk of harm or injury does not go away. Actually, it gets worse than it gets better. In fact, you might be at a very, very greater risk once you leave that relationship. So it's important to take steps to keep you safe, to keep yourself safe as much as possible. And we'll talk more about what you are supposed to do once you leave that relationship on our next episode, the week after next week. So, because I believe, I believe that everyone is born free. That's the reason why, like today, we are sharing all this, because I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. So no one should ever be subject to such unjustified violence. I hope from all these messages, from all these amazing speakers, really, you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. Because growing up, really, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. But with the love, with the support I got from my mom, I am here, I'm still standing. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Nompumelelo Riel Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So we all have to rise to greater heights. And if you want a copy of my book, it's right here, Rise to Greater Heights, which is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. And I've got so many books, but I'm just going to share the two because in the interest of time. So human rights, if you remember it very well, in May 25th, 2020, George Floyd that died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. He deserved to, George Floyd, he had the right to life. So I decided to write human rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So good people, we are at the end of the podcast. So if you happen to have any questions to any of the speakers right now, it's the time to post your questions, and I'm going to go there and check if we have any emails from our amazing audience. And at this moment, our speakers are going to share their final thoughts on that topic, human rights as well as domestic violence. So Alana, the stage is yours.
Thank you. So I would say if you find yourself in an abusive situation, or if you know of someone that's in an abusive situation and they feel like they can't get out, they feel like they're trapped, there is a way out. You have to develop a safety plan, just like you were just talking about in your speech. You also should let friends and family members know of your plan, but just devise a plan to get out. You can do it. You'll find the finances. You'll find a way. And guess what? When you get on the other side, it is awesome. It is so much better than staying in your current situation. I'm doing so much better now. My kids are doing so much better now, and we're thriving. I regret the fact that I stayed in my relationship for as long as I did. I wish I had done it sooner, but I had every excuse in the world as to why I couldn't get out of my domestic violence situation. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to make a plan and you can get out.
Wow, thank you, Alana. You can go ahead, Tamara, and then Victoria after Tamara and Dennis.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Hearing the strength and the resilience of these dynamic women is very inspiring. I would like to encourage everybody to look around and notice. The hints are subtle, the hints are bold. When people ask for help, give them a hand up. Let's continue this conversation. Let's use our voices. Let's empower women. Let's empower girls. Let's bring the men to the table that want to help, because there are many that do. Let's work in organizations to create safe spaces to have conversations, bring mental health to the forefront, and mostly understand that you are right. We are all born free and equal. We all have the right to education, healthcare, a living wage, jobs, and the opportunity to thrive. And when we create peaceful societies, we create those opportunities for everybody. So let's work together to create positive peace, to support one another, be respectful of our differences, and embrace our diversity, and support women and anybody that's in a situation of domestic violence, because violence is never acceptable. So working together, we can set the table for success. We can all be leaders, and we can all step up and step out and be the change we wish to see.
I just want to thank everyone again for this opportunity and remind everybody that when you think you can't handle it, one of the things that I say that I really want you to let resonate in your mind for just a minute is you have survived 100% of your worst days. Now think about that again. You have survived 100% of your worst days. you can get through this. You don't have to do it alone. We offer support groups. They're free. We offer so many different resources to help you get back on your feet again. You are not alone. And that is what we need to hear more than anything. You are worth a fight. You are worth fighting for. Your children are worth fighting for. Don't stay where you shouldn't be. Thank you again so much for this opportunity today.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing this message and being able to share this platform with you amazing women, and to the audience. To final thoughts would be, have a strategic plan when it's time to leave. And you're not going to be ready to leave until the moment you're ready to leave. So no shame, no guilt, no blame on you being in it for so long. 22 years right here. So have a strategic plan in place. And then when you do leave, give yourself that time to reset. And then please, please, please go into your healing journey, because healing from this is going to be the game changer for you. This is what's going to catapult you to the next level of your life. This is what's going to possibly even be doing what we're doing, being on a platform like this and sharing your story and your message to help other people to do the same thing that you did. Healing is the key. And also experiencing an amazing love after toxic love. And that is my biggest message to everybody, is that you can have true love after toxic love. It is 100% possible, even if you've been through the crappiest relationships your entire life. So again, thank you, Dr. Rial, for having us and being able to share these stories and to network with each other and to shed some light on this topic. It's a very heavy topic. Not everybody can even handle talking about this. It's so heavy, but somebody has to, because if we don't, the abuse is going to continue. And I would really love to dive into the whole system, but that's a whole nother show, right? But just to let everybody know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have to take the actions to get there. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, amazing speakers. You know, like to give us your time, to spare your time just to be with us here and sharing your wisdom on human rights, on domestic violence. I know, like I was just out of my comfort zone talking on domestic violence, but you know what? Someone's life needs to be changed, and it started here. So thank you so much to you amazing speakers. Really, with your messages, many souls have been restored, they've been rebuilt, they have been empowered, they are inspired, they are ready to rise to greater heights. So kudos to you amazing speakers, and to our amazing audience online. Thank you so much for joining us today here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these amazing speakers with their messages, you've been inspired, motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Siyabonga.